Hello, everyone. Welcome to English for Humanities and Social Sciences course, CBEN 18-213. And this is lesson 4, Environment Part 2. Okay, so moving on to the lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to use basic grammatical structures and vocabulary related to environment. Practice the use of demonstratives. Practice the use of determiners. Read and understand specific information in a passage. Practice language use related to apologies, compliments, and congratulations. Introduce and give basic details about oneself at a gathering or a group discussion. So these are the lesson outcomes. Okay, so moving on to start up the session, since this is environment, I thought of showing you this clip on talking about the environment in English, okay, to practice your speaking a little bit. Okay, let's watch this first.
Welcome to Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you can learn how to talk about environmental issues in English.
What's the air quality like in your city? Do you worry about climate change or how your food is produced? You'll learn how to talk about these and other topics in this class.
To see more free English lessons, visit our website, oxfordonlineenglish.com. You can also book English classes with our fully qualified teachers who can help you with your English speaking, writing, IELTS preparation, or whatever else you need.
Now, let's look at our first topic.
Wow, it's such a beautiful day. The sky is so blue.
I guess. It's been nice all summer, so I don't notice it as much. Maybe I'm getting spoiled.
I wasn't expecting it to be like this. My dad came here a few years ago, and he said the air quality was really bad.
He's not wrong. It used to be terrible. In summer, you'd often get thick smog covering the whole city, but it's improved greatly in the last decade or so.
What changed?
I think it was driven by people's attitudes. 10 years ago, no one was interested in environmental issues, but nowadays there's much more awareness of things like air quality and how it can affect your health.
Sure, but that can't be the only reason.
Well, no. The local government also brought in new laws and regulations. They introduced restrictions on driving in the city center, made it illegal to use wood or coal fires for heating, and moved a lot of heavy industry away from the city. Plus, there are much tighter regulations nationally too, like with car emissions. Compared to even 10 years ago, cars are much cleaner.
It's impressive that they could make such a big change in a short time. 10 years isn't long for these things.
True, but there's still more to do. It can still get hazy in winter. They're investing in public transport infrastructure though, so I think it'll carry on getting better. In your hometown, is the air quality good? Or do you have problems? Can you remember any of the phrases you heard in the dialogue to talk about air pollution? You heard the air quality was really bad. You'd often get thick smog covering the whole city. It can still get hazy in winter. Smog is a thick fog caused by air pollution. If the air is a little dirty, so that you can't see far, you might describe it as hazy.
Air quality is a useful phrase for this topic. You can use it with different adjectives. For example, the air quality is terrible. The air quality is better than it was 10 years ago. The air quality is great for such a large city.
Here's a question. What do you think the government, companies, or individuals can do to minimize air pollution? In the dialogue, you heard several possible solutions, such as the government brought in new laws and regulations. They introduced restrictions on driving in the city center. They made it illegal to use wood or coal fires for heating. They moved a lot of heavy industry away from the city.
Restrictions on driving could mean different things. For example, London has a congestion charge, meaning that drivers have to pay every time they enter the city center. Some cities have banned vehicles with diesel engines, while others have created large pedestrian zones. Let's practice. Here are 3 questions for you. 1. What's the air quality like in your city? 2. What is your local or national government doing to improve air quality where you live? 3. What do you think is the best way to reduce air pollution?
Pause the video, think about your answers, and write them down or say them out loud. If you need more help, review the dialogue and this section. There are many words and phrases you can use. Ready? Let's move on to our next point. Whoa, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
You can't throw that in there.
Why not? It's garbage.
Yeah, but it's recyclable. It goes in the blue bin.
You mean I have to put all recyclable stuff in the blue bin?
Not all. Plastics go in the blue bin, paper and card in the brown bin, and bio-waste in the green one.
Bio-waste?
You know, food waste and stuff like that.
Is that it?
The black bucket is for glass and tins. Do you not recycle?
In my hometown, you can recycle a few things, like glass, but we don't sort our garbage like this. It seems very complicated.
Then what? All of your rubbish just goes into landfill?
I guess. I've never thought about it. I just throw stuff away and forget about it.
It was the same here not so long ago, but now we've got used to sorting our rubbish and recycling as much as possible. It's much more environmentally friendly.
I'm sure you're right. In the dialogue, we mentioned several different types of garbage. Quick question. Can you remember 3 of them? By the way, the words garbage, rubbish, and trash all have a similar meaning. They all mean the stuff which you throw away. If there is recycling in your city, you might need to sort your recyclable garbage, meaning you put different things in different bins.
Generally, you can sort garbage into recyclables and non-recyclables. Recyclable garbage might include glass, tins, cans, paper, card, plastic, and bio-waste. Waste which is not recycled is often sent to landfill. That means the waste is buried in a big hole in the ground. Sometimes waste might end up in a dump. A dump is like a landfill, but it isn't buried, so it's just a big pile of garbage on the ground somewhere.
Now it's time for you to practice. Here are another 3 questions for you. In your city, do you sort your garbage? If so, how? What waste is commonly recycled in your country? What happens to non-recyclable waste? As before, pause the video and make your answers. Practice them a few times before you continue. Let's look at our next topic. That book looks interesting. What's it about?
This? It's by a Japanese writer. It's about farming and how we could make farming more sustainable.
Okay, you're a graphic designer. Why are you reading about farming?
It's interesting. Farming produces the food you eat. It's not like it doesn't affect you.
What's his idea?
He's basically saying that modern farming methods can produce more in the short term, but in the long term, they degrade the land and end up costing more. One thing he talks about is pesticide use. Like if farmers use pesticides and herbicides, then they create an ecosystem which depends on those artificial products, which are often harmful for the environment. If you grow food organically, using more traditional farming methods, you can grow the same amount of food without using pesticides at all.
So he thinks we should go back to medieval farming or something?
Not exactly. I can see you're skeptical, but I think you should read it. It's not just theory, by the way. He's used his ideas to set up several farms in different countries, and they work, just like he says.
I have been thinking about these things, actually, especially with meat. I saw a documentary about livestock farming and slaughterhouses, and it was shocking. I guess most people just buy the food and don't think about where it comes from.
Right, so you'll definitely like this book too. You can borrow it once I've finished.
What's it called?
The One Straw Revolution. Do you think about where your food comes from and how it's produced? Modern farming is heavily mechanized. It depends on machinery, automation, as well as chemical products like herbicides and pesticides. Herbicides kill weeds, meaning unwanted plants. Pesticides kill insects and small animals which might try to eat food crops.
Farming needs to be sustainable. Sustainable means that something can continue. For example, if you earn $1,000 a month and spend $2,000, that isn't sustainable. Maybe you can do that for a few months, but you can't do it long term. In the same way, some farming methods are unsustainable. In this case, farming can degrade the land, meaning that over time, it becomes more and more difficult to grow anything. On the other hand, some farming is organic. Organic means that food is grown without using any artificial chemical products.
Of course, farming isn't just about growing plants. There is also livestock farming, raising animals for meat, eggs, or milk. Animals which are raised to provide meat are generally killed in a slaughterhouse. What about in your country? Think about these questions. Are farms usually bigger and more mechanized, or are they mostly smaller, using more traditional methods? Do you think it's worth paying extra to eat organic food? Why or why not? Is it important to know how your food is produced? Give a reason. Pause the video and think about your answers. Write them down, say them out loud, or do both. Let's look at our last section. Do people ever talk about global warming in your country?
For sure. It's a big issue. We have a long coastline, and a lot of the land is close to sea level, so the dangers feel very real.
I feel like people often don't pay attention to these things until it's too late.
It's already happening, though. There's more flooding than there used to be, and older people, like my grandparents, for example, all say that summers have got much hotter than they were 50 years ago.
That's kind of scary. I read somewhere that even if we cut carbon emissions to zero, global warming would continue for at least 50 years because of the greenhouse gases that are already in the atmosphere.
The big topic for us is sea levels. If the ice caps melt, they say sea levels will rise by 2 or 3 meters. For some countries, that wouldn't be a big deal, but we'd lose almost half of our land.
I don't think any country will be immune from the problems if it continues. So, do you think there's a solution? It doesn't look optimistic from what I've heard.
I mean, people talk about things like carbon taxes and reforestation programs, which are helpful, but I don't think there will be any real progress until there's true international cooperation. So far, I don't see any sign of that. In the dialogue, you heard us talking about climate change. Can you remember phrases we used to describe the causes and effects of climate change? By the way, you can use the terms global warming or climate change. People use them with the same meaning. Climate change is caused by increasing levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The main greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, or CO2.
Sometimes, instead of talking about carbon dioxide or CO2, people will just refer to carbon. You can hear things like, we need to cut carbon emissions significantly. Climate change may lead to several problems, particularly flooding caused by rising sea levels. Although there aren't clear solutions, some people suggest that carbon taxes or reforestation programs are good ways to combat climate change. A carbon tax means that companies would have to pay the government if their operations released CO2 into the atmosphere.
Let's see. Can you use some of this language? Here are 3 questions for you. Are you worried about global warming? Why or why not? How would your country be affected if sea levels rose significantly? What do you think is the best way to deal with climate change? Pause the video and make your answers now.
How was that? There's a lot of language in this lesson, so don't forget to review any sections that were difficult for you. Finally, we have a question for you. What's the biggest environmental issue in your country? Let us know in the comments and practice talking about these topics with other learners. Thanks for watching.
See you next
Okay, so that was for you to practice speaking and to talk about the environment and pollution and environmental issues. I think global warming can be something new for you. So you can search on that. And we are going to discuss about all the global warming stuff in lessons ahead. Okay. So yes. So get used to the vocabulary related to environment, environmental pollution. Okay. And moving on, we have grammar mostly after this. So we did sum up these. So we are moving to this activity 1. Read the following quote by the famous poet Lord Byron. Let's read this and see. There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. There is a rapture in the lonely shore. There is society where none intrudes. By the deep sea and the music in its roar, I love not man the less, but nature more. Okay. According to Byron, what are the pleasurable natural elements that exist in nature? Second one, note down phrases he uses to introduce them. When we first refer to the existence or presence of someone or something, what are the phrases we use in English? Okay. I'll give you a few minutes to think about the answers, then we can discuss. Okay, let's discuss the answers. According to Byron, what are the pleasurable elements natural elements that exist in nature. There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. So, pathless woods, lonely shores. Okay, these are the pleasurable elements. Note down the phrases he uses to introduce them. Phrases, there is a pleasure in the pathless woods. Then there is a rapture in the lonely shore. There is a society where none intrudes. When we refer to the existence or presence of someone or something, what are the phrases we use in English? We use there is or there are. Okay, so that's what we are going to talk about. There is and there are. So we have, when it comes to there is and there are, when we use it in a sentence, okay, we use there is for singular. So for an example, there is an argument that recycling may have some unforeseen negative effects. Then when we use there are, for an example, we use it for plural, for more than one thing. So there are many arguments about the positive and negative effects of nature. So moving on to, if we want to say, have a negative connotation, we use there isn't or there aren't. Okay, there isn't we use with singular, one. There is not or there isn't enough space on earth for future generations. There aren't we use with plural. There aren't or there are not any positive environmental effects of urbanization. So for question form, we have to take is or are to the beginning. So is there or are there? If it's negative question form, isn't there or aren't there? For an example, is there an old saying about the generosity of nature? Or isn't there an old saying about the generosity of nature? So if it's plural, we use are there old sayings about the generosity of nature? Or aren't there old sayings about the generosity of nature? Okay, so go through this format once again. You can write your own sentences, negative sentences, then questions, and practice. Okay, so we are moving. We did picture description in the last previous lesson. So we are going to describe this picture using there is, there are mostly, but you can use other forms as well. Okay, don't get restricted. But use there is, there are mostly. Okay, to practice it. Okay, so I hope you did the picture description, mostly using there is and there are. For an example, you can say this is a picture of a summer camp. There are a lot of kids in the camp. Okay, there are trees and there is a van. Okay, likewise, and then you can describe person to person as we discussed in the previous lesson. Okay, so moving on to quantifiers, we did four quantifiers last time, right? In the previous lesson, we did few, little, a little. Okay, so we are going to learn more quantifiers. We'll watch this video first and then discuss.
Peekaboo. How are you? My name is Ronnie. I'm going to teach you some English. Imagine that I would teach you English on Ingvid. Ingvid.com. Today's lesson is good versus bad with nouns. I hear this mistake a lot, almost every day. So I want to help you. I want you to sound as natural as possible when you speak English. So maybe you have already learned that we have uncountable and countable nouns. What this means, if you haven't learned this before, is that if a noun is uncountable, we do not put an S at the end of the noun. So things that are really tiny small, like rice or sugar or salt, are uncountable. Things that are liquid, for example, beer or water, is uncountable. So all liquids and all tiny things are uncountable. Also, gases are uncountable. That wasn't me. So I could go on with a massive list of uncountable nouns, but you can do that yourself. Then we have countable. Countable, obviously, you can stick an S on the end of the noun. So most things are countable. For example, dogs, hamburgers, cats, markers, eyes, hair. Hair is uncountable! Because there's so many tiny little hairs on one head. So this is the rule that you have learned. If your noun is uncountable, you have to say too much. So maybe you come up with a sentence that says, I have too much sugar. Good. Okay. So you know that sugar is uncountable, and you have used a very good English sentence. You used, I have too much sugar. Good. And then your teacher says, okay, make a countable noun sentence. Okay, I have too many pens. I have a lot of pens. I have too many pens. Very, very good grammatic sentences. But there's a problem. Bad nouns. Bad nouns. Bad nouns, what I mean is when we use too much or too many, your noun has to be something that you do not like. Okay? For example, maybe you go to school and your teacher gives you homework. Do you think homework is a bad noun or a good noun? What's your opinion of homework? I hate homework. I hate it. It's boring. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So in my opinion, homework is a bad noun. So I'm going to say, God, I have too much homework. because homework is a negative or a bad thing, I can say, oh God, I have too much homework tonight. Okay? Too much and too many are always going to be for negative or bad things that you don't like. So, too many. Maybe you go to the movie and it's really, really, really crowded. You can say, oh God, there's too many people. Now, maybe you like people, maybe you don't like people, but in this situation, having a lot of people is bad. So, once again, it is your opinion. Too much and too many are always for things that you do not like personally or you think are bad at a moment. For example, there are too many calories in 7 cookies. I like cookies. Who doesn't like cookies? I love cookies, but calories, oh, they're bad. So I can say there are too many calories. Okay? There is too much rain in the rainy season or in spring. There's too much rain. I don't want any more rain. Okay? Now on the reverse, we have the beautiful, lovely, happy, good things. The beautiful, lovely, good things are my good nouns. Good nouns, as you might have guessed, are things that you like. For example, beer. You will never, ever, ever open your fridge and go, oh no, I've got too many beers. I've got too much beer. This will never happen. You will never go to the bank machine and go, oh, well, look at that. I've got too much money. Never happen. So when it's a positive thing, what you're going to say is a lot of. For example, I have a lot of friends. Friends are usually good things. Or if you're lucky, you might say, I have a lot of money. Woohoo! If you have a lot of money, Ronnie would like some money. Donate. Money. Okay? I have a lot of money. I have a lot of beer. Yes. I have a lot of friends. The cool thing about a lot of is that it can be used for both countable and uncountable. It's very, very natural in English that we say a lot of as opposed to much or many all the time. So, what I want you to do is I want you to get a lot of happiness in your life. I don't want you to have too much homework. I don't want you to have too many bad people in your life. And I want you to enjoy learning English. Till then, goodbye.
Okay, so let's look at this list. Okay, so for with countable nouns, so we only talked about too much, too many, and a lot of, how they can be different. Okay, and how too much and too many give a negative connotation. Okay, and a lot of gives a positive connotation. So moving on, here's a list of quantifiers. With countable nouns, you can use a majority of, a number of, several, many, a large number of, a few, very few, a great number of. With uncountable nouns, you can use much, a bit, a great deal of, a large quantity of, a large amount of, a little, very little. With countable and uncountable nouns, both, you can use enough, all, more, most, less, least, no, none, any, not any, some, plenty of, lots of. Okay, so go through this list over and over and try to remember when we use what are the quantifiers we use with countable, what are the quantifiers we use with uncountable, and what are the quantifiers we can use with both. Okay, so moving on to the activity. Circle the correct options to complete the article about recycling. Okay, read this and select which quantifier should be used. Okay, I'll give you some time. Okay, let's discuss. So here I have highlighted the answers. Okay, let's read this. A new report looks at recycling in different countries and what they can learn from each other. The Japanese have different types of recycling bins, so each citizen recycles some household items. For example, they recycle about 100% of their drink cans, which is a lot higher than both America and Britain. However, America has introduced some new projects in recent years. This year, it recycled 48% of its paper, 40% of its plastic bottles, and 65% of its cans. Every branch of Senegal recycles a little of its waste industrially. Recycles a little of its waste industrially, but people generally don't throw away any items that they can use for something else. For example, you can buy shoes made from old plastic bags and drinking cups made by cats. Okay, so moving on to the next activity, we have read the article and answer the following questions. Let's read the article first, okay? Positive news in the fight against plastic today as Coca-Cola begins tests on the newly designed bottle made from paper. Their aim is to make a bottle that is completely recyclable and uses no plastic. This still has a lining of plastic on the inside, but the majority of the design is created with a strong paper. Coca-Cola has previously been under fire for its creation of plastics. It was given the title of the world's #1 plastic polluter by Break Free from Plastic. Break Free from Plastic, a charity group dedicated to put an end to plastic pollution. In an attempt to clean up its image, Coca-Cola has partnered with the Danish business paper bottle company, or Fabco for short. Coca-Cola aims to increase their use of recycled materials. It also plans to recycle a bottle or can for everyone that they sell by 2030. The challenge for the new paper design is to contain the gas used in carbonated drinks, which use pressure as part of the bottling process. Using Coca-Cola fruit drink, Ada's Tobacco will trial the paper bottle on around 2,000 bottles. Some beer companies are also working on paper bottles for their products. There is still challenges to overcome in confirming recyclable bottles are widely used and arriving at the final destination of a completely plastic-free package. But whoever manages to replace plastic first, the winner will be the environment. Okay, so that is about Coca-Cola company mostly trying to come up with a new design for their packaging, the bottle, instead of using plastic, okay, minimizing plastic. So go through it one more time if you want, then we have some questions to answer. What is the new Coca-Cola bottle is mostly made of? Who has partnered with Coca-Cola to produce paper bottles? Why has Coca-Cola planned to produce paper bottles? Decide if the following statements are true about the article are true or false. Coca-Cola plans to stop selling bottles and cans before 2030. The pressure used in making soft drinks is a problem for the designer of the new bottle. There are more difficulties ahead before we have a bottle that is completely free of plastic. Okay, I'll give you some time to go through the passage one more time and check the answers. When you check the answers, one of the things that you can do is look for the keywords. Okay, for an example, what is the new Coca-Cola bottle mostly made of? So you can check the word made, make, something, a similar word for this, and read that part. one more time. Okay, for an example, I'll do it. So the word is already there. I can see it. See, made. Now you check that keyword from the passage and then you only read that specific area very carefully and try to get the answer from it. Okay, so this is what we call reading for specific details. Okay, so we just read for specific details. What we want is the answer for the question. Okay, so do that. That way you can get the correct answers in a very little amount of time. Okay, I'll go to the questions one more time. So I'll give you some time to do this. Okay, let's discuss. So as I said, what is the new Coca-Cola bottle is made of? We'll take made as the keyword. That is what we are looking for. Coca-Cola, where it was, what is it made of? Okay. So we found the word already here and we'll read it. Positive news in the fight against alcohol begins test on a newly designed bottle made from paper. So it is made from paper. Okay, that is the answer. Who has partnered with Coca-Cola to produce paper bottles? What do you think is the keyword? The keyword is partnered. If keyword decker, how you can see looking for that is you have to see මොකද්ද මේ එකේ මම හොයන්න ඕනේ. Specific detail එක මොකක්ද? Okay, so we'll look for partnered, the keyword, the word partnered from the text. Okay, let's see. Where can we find the word? Here, partnered is here. Now, what we have to do is, then ඒ වචනේ හොයාගත්තට පස්සේ you have to reread it අර full ඒ sentence එක හරි ඒ sentence දෙක තුන හරි කියවන්න හොඳට. Okay, read it. In an attempt to clean up its image, Coca-Cola has partnered with Danish business paper bottle company, or Paboco for short. Coca-Cola has partnered with Danish business paper bottle company. Okay, so that is the answer. Then we have decide if the following wait. Why has Coca-Cola planned to produce paper bottles? Why? We are looking for the reason why and to produce paper bottles. Okay, plan to produce, look whether these words you can find. Okay, and we are looking why, the reason. Okay, see. So a reason, a similar word for reason is attempt. Okay, not a reason, try. Okay, something you try. So whether we can find the words, we'll see. So this is kind of the description. The second paragraph has it, right? Coca-Cola has previously been under fire for its creation of plastics. It was given the title of the words #1 plastic polluted by Break Free from Plastic. Break Free from Plastic is a charity group dedicated blah, blah, blah in an attempt to clean up its image. So the reason is to clean up its image. They have decided to create plastic bottles, okay, to increase their use of recycled materials. It also plans to recycle a bottle or can for everyone, blah, blah, blah. So the reason is to clear their image, okay. Then Coca-Cola, we'll have to say true, whether it's true or false, okay. Coca-Cola plans to stop selling bottles and cans before 2030. We'll see the word, whether we can find this 2030 in the text. Is it there? Yes, 2030 is here. Now we'll read this part, what it says. Okay. It also plans to recycle a bottle or can for every one that they sell by 2030. So what it's mentioned here is they are going to recycle a bottle or can for every bottle or can they sell. Okay, so what's in here is Coca-Cola plans to stop selling bottles and cans. It doesn't say they are going to stop. They are going to stop. They are going to keep selling. But for all the bottles and cans they are going to sell, they are going to recycle more. Okay, that is what they are saying. So this is false. The pressure used in making soft drinks is a problem for the designers of the new bottle. So we'll talk about, we'll see pressure. Okay. And designers, words like these where we can see. Let's go to the text. Okay. Here, pressure is here. We'll read that part. The challenge for the new paper design is to contain the gas used in carbonated drinks, which use pressure as part of the bottling process. The challenge for the new paper design is to contain the gas used in carbonated drinks, which use pressure as part of their bottling process. Using Coca-Cola's food drink, Addis Barbago trial, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see what is this thing again. The pressure used in making soft bottles is a problem for the designers of the years. So it says the challenge. Challenge means it's a problem. Okay, so it's true. There are more difficulties ahead before we have a bottle that is completely free of plastics. Difficulties, free of plastic. Let's see these words. A similar word is there. Challenges is also there. Okay, challenges. And final destination, something similar. Completely plastic free, free of plastic. Same thing. Okay, let's read this now. There are still challenges to overcome in confirming recyclable bottles. Recyclable bottles are widely used and arriving at the final destination of a completely plastic-free package. So it's true, right? There are still going to be more problems till we get a fully plastic-free bottles and cans. Okay, so that is one way of answering, easy way of answering comprehension questions. Use can. Okay, use can. You kind of look for the keywords and scan. Okay, scan through the text and check whether the same word is there or a similar word with a similar meaning is there, and read that whole section to get the answer. Okay, so we'll move on to the next part. We have apologies, compliments, and congratulations. Okay, so these are some vocabulary and phrases you can use when it comes to speaking. Okay, so for apologies, when you want to say sorry to someone, you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the impact of. I'm sorry, I didn't realize this. Okay, please accept our deepest or sincere apologies for something. I would like to express my deep regrets for. I would like to apologize on behalf of our company. I apologize for my failure too. I'm particularly sorry for. Okay, so these are other ways of telling sorry without just saying I'm sorry. Okay, then giving compliments. When you want to say this is good or nice, so give a compliment to something or someone. I admire your ability to think on your feet. I really must express my admiration for your speech. Your perspective is refreshing. You are an excellent public speaker. I appreciate your endeavors. Then receiving compliments. When you give compliments, you give them. When someone else compliments you, what you can say. It's very kind of you to say that. I'm delighted to hear that. Thank you very much. Okay. Another thing is you can practice how to wish or congratulate someone. Congratulations, you deserve the success. Congratulations on your hard work. My sincere or heartfelt, warmest congratulations to you. I commend you on your accomplishments, success. Oh, success, sorry. Okay, so I commend you on your accomplishments or success. Okay, so moving on, we'll go through this video to gain more ideas, gain a better idea on this, and also to practice. Okay, this is a speaking part section mostly. Let's watch this.
At At the Hotel Conversations Part 2. It's 9:30 p.m. The rain is raining heavily outside. That makes the road flooded. Two wet men come into a lobby of a five-star hotel. Hi, welcome to Paradise Hotel. How can I help you, sir? Hi, give me the 2 suite rooms. Have you had the reservation yet? No, I haven't. Because of the heavy rain outside, we decided to stay a night here. I understand. Let me check for a vacancy. How long will you be staying, sir? Only this night. I'm really sorry, sir. Due to this peak time of the season, we only have one room left with a double bed. 2 guys sleep in one room on one bed? Are you kidding me? I am really sorry, sir, but this is the weekend and the carnival is happening.
Paule hämordom Marianne Vaslin.
Have been booked and used. There's only one left. Okay, let's get this straight. You have no idea who you're talking to. Last year, I spent more than $800,000 staying here. Even your hotel manager needed to welcome me when I came. And now, my friend and I are staying here, all wet, and you're saying the two of us need to share a cheap room? Call your manager. I need to talk to him. The manager's gone back home, sir. And because of the rain out there, I'm afraid he can't meet you directly. Okay, well, give us a minute. Richard, come here. I know you're upset and feel uncomfortable sharing a room like this. Not just that, it's cheap. And I always stay in the suite room, Peter. Or more than that. Okay, I know, but our car is broken. The road is flooded. All the rooms are booked and the poor receptionist over there clearly can't do anything in this circumstance. I think we either share a room or we spend a night in your broken car in the rain. And I'm sure it's much more inconvenient for both of us. Ugh. Take it easy, take a room, and get a shower. I'm a little cold in here. Ugh, all right. Sorry for my friend's behavior. We will take that room. Thank you, sir. May I have your name? Peter Parker. Mr. Parker, your room is going to be $550 per night, which does not include the VAT and service fee. Can I have your ID, please? $350 for a deluxe room for one night? Yes, this is a five-star hotel, you know. I see. Don't worry, this is my ID card. And you said this was a cheap room. All right, could you sign here, please? No problem. Do you accept the Visa card? Sure, any card. Stop it, Peter. You are my guest. Let me do the bill. Here, the black card. Thank you, sir. But the payment will be after you check out. Here's your key. Your room number is 713 on the 7th floor. You can take the elevators over there. If you need anything, just dial 9 to talk to the receptionist. Thanks. Let's go, Richard. Wow, it's too small. Come on, Richard. It's not that bad. You're killing the mood. It's large enough for us. Look, the bed is really big, like king size. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have a shower first. Is that all right? Yes, go ahead. In the meantime, I'll look for dinner. Want to eat it in our room or at the restaurant? Our room. It's a little bit late and I'm tired enough to go somewhere else. Okay. Get me something hot. Got it.
The receptionist of the Paradise Hotel. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm the guest of 713. I'm calling for dinner.
Yes, can I take your order?
2 lobster soups, 1 chili hot fish, 1 bacon wrapped grouper chunks, and 2 apple and pear tarts.
Noted, sir. I'll contact the restaurant and serve your food after 20 minutes.
Thanks. Hello?
Hi, sir. I'm the receptionist of the hotel. I contacted the restaurant, but unfortunately, the chef said that we ran out of the lobster soup. And because of the weather, we can't buy the ingredients at this moment. Could you change to another soup?
What a great night. First the room, and now is the soup. What else did your hotel run out of?
I'm really sorry about that.
Huh. What else do you have left?
For the soup, we still have chicken soup, vegetable soup, meat soup, and seafood soup.
Okay, just give me 2 eel soups.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'm done. You ordered dinner yet? You are really quick. Yeah, I've just done it also. Yeah, I have a little cold here, so don't want to stay in there for long. Okay, I think I had better have a shower now. Who's there?
I'm a restaurant waiter, sir.
I'm serving you the dinner. Come on in. That's really quick. Where should I put the dishes?
Just at the desk right next to the window?
Okay, sir, just give me 3 minutes for setting up. All done, sir.
After you finish your meal, just dial 9 for the receptionist, and then she'll call us to clean up.
Thanks. Here's your tip.
Thank you, sir. If you have any problem, just call us.
I will.
Have a nice dinner, sir.
Thanks. Hey, Richard, have you done it? You've been there for nearly 30 minutes. Gonna. The food is ready. Come out quickly while it's still hot. Okay, I'm coming. Richard, come here. God, you've been in there for so long. I'm starving. You can have it first. Don't need to wait for me. Who did that? Okay, let's have the meal. Wow, the food is really great. I really love it. Yeah, they are a 5-star hotel. The food needs to be good, but not for the shampoo and shower gel in the bathroom. Ugh, the suite room must be lots better. And they ran out of lobster soup at the time, so I had to order the eel soup instead. What a bad service. I'll complain to the manager tomorrow. That's enough for the complaining, Richard. I think all the services are really good. And also the attitude of the staff here. You don't need to be so hard on them like that. Ugh. Want to drink something? We have beer, Coke, and juice to drink. God, that's all they have. What a poor choice. Richard, choose one. Give me beer. It's a tiring day. Here you are. Drink it and forget what makes you angry, okay? Huh, okay.
Okay, let's move to the final activity. We have read the following self-introduction by a climate activist. A climate activist is a person who kind of talk on behalf of the climate change issues. Okay, someone who worked for it. Okay, and notice down how the speaker introduces herself at a gathering. Imagine walking 5 kilometers at school every day under scorching sun, no trees, no shade in sight, writing final exams outside in the dry, sweltering heat, and still being expected to pass with flying colors. And then after school, or sometimes before, or sometimes both, trekking for 4 hours to the nearest water source, standing in long queues just to get a few drops from a drying well. This is the daily life of myself and over thousands of school children in my city alone, and life of millions of children all across Africa and around the globe. Climate change is making our lives harder, sometimes unbearably so. My name is Kositlati, I can't read that name, Nyati. I'm UNICEF Youth Climate Advocate and a proud Zimbabwean. I live in a town called Victoria Falls, which is home to one of the 7 wonders of the world. Here we call it Mosi Atunya, and this is Tonga for the smoke that thunders. I grew up in Chinotimba Township. Most of the names I'm telling must be the wrong pronunciation, not used to them. A poor part of our region where many are struggling. But as a child, I noticed on top of existing economic challenges, we started having new challenges caused by environmental impact. Okay, so what you have to do is, okay, you have given a situation here. Okay, discuss how the effect her self-introduction is in comparison to the following. I am Ayana. I am 14 years old. I am from Australia. I have cared about the environment as long as I can remember. I've been singing about the environment since the age of 4. I also give speeches around the world, including Rio 20, Zuna, UN, Children and Youth Conference, and Oneka Conference, and TEDx. My primary aim is to show the world that the voices of youth deserves to be heard. So the difference between, if we compare these two self-introductions, the first one has a lot of depth to it and talks with the experiencers and take experiencers to talk about the issue, right? So that is a much better way, in my opinion. Okay, so moving on to this. Prepare a self-introduction to address the United Nations Climate Action Summit. Consider the following. Thank the UN for giving you the opportunity. Introduce yourself, your background. Discuss the environmental impact of man's actions. Use determinants and demonstratives appropriately. So what you have to do is make a self-introduction like this, thinking that you are going to address the United Nations Climate Action Summit. Okay, so you have to do that as a homework and yes, complete this. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end the session. So we did quite a lot today. We went through vocabulary related to environment, environmental pollution, and we did quantifiers. There are picture description, and then we went through some speaking activities, video to learn how to apologize, compliment, okay, and then finally this self-introduction thing. Okay, so that is it for this lesson. I will see you again in the next lesson. Bye.